Aloha people. In a previous video, I touched on how the moon affects our emotions and that of water and the importance of that. Now, I'd like to develop that further by going to the moon magic and how that actually works. In particular, this time I'd like to discuss about the lunar eclipse that is occurring January 31st, 2018. Now, with any eclipse season, what we're experiencing is the north and south nodes of the moon, which are the poles, are aligned with the constellations that are currently aligned with Earth and the Sun. Now, when you're in a varying degree that is in tune to that, this is when the eclipse occur. Now, for example, on February 15th, we have a solar eclipse, but it's a partial solar eclipse, meaning it won't be a totality one because it lies right outside that range, but still enough to be called an eclipse. So, as we're in eclipse season, what triggers this is that the north and south nodes of the moon are respectively in Leo and Aquarius. So, anytime we're in the Leo Aquarius polarity when we're traversing the cycle, we are able to see this come out in an expressed manner of a lunar eclipse and a solar eclipse. Now, with most solar eclipses, you're either sandwiched between two lunar eclipses or you have one come prior or after. Right now, this one occurs prior to the solar eclipse that will come into play. As we get closer to this, we are seeing that this lunar eclipse is going to be a culmination from the season's past eclipse, which occurred in Leo of last year, which is around the August range. So at this moment in time, many of us are seeing what comes to light, a manifestation that is more in tune to that. And due to it being connected to Leo, we are seeing something that's more in tune to identifying who we are and how we operate. Because we're able to perceive ourselves and bring ourselves forward, this is a great opportunity to get a good understanding of where you want to go from here. Now, because we're in this culmination period of a full moon, lunar eclipse, we are going to approach the new moon. And any moon from a full to a new moon is a releasing. It's a letting go. It's the time of the cycle that goes through winter, and now you're proud to hit spring where things are rebirth. And that's what the new moon shall do. So as we reach any eclipse season, it really is like you're on a train and you're traveling, but you need to get off and get onto another train. So it's this time period where you get off the train, you have some time to breathe, reflect of what just happened, and start a new journey. Now that journey has took you to here where you are now. Where you want to go from here is going to be based on where this affects you specifically in the chart. But on a general collective scale, due to the new moon occurring in Aquarius, Aquarius is more known for helping humanity, helping the collective on a larger, wider scale. As Leo itself is the focus on the inner being of who you are, we're understanding and helping the outer being. Now that outer being is where you'd like to help humanity or network and connect. Now this is a great time for many of those on social media who are looking to build a community or are looking to help and volunteer where possible for the better sake of growth outside of you. So you're offering opportunity for people to experience their own growth or to receive aid that helps them. So this whole partial solar eclipse is calling us to see until probably around the next eclipse, which, if I recall correctly, is sometime in August. We're going to see this moment of where it is that helps us by getting clear with us at the lunar eclipse of who we are, which occurs in Leo, and then bringing that to the Aquarius new moon, which is the solar eclipse, that allows us to set manifestations of what is the best way that we, through our truest of being, can help others around us. Now, this could be helping people on a humanitarian, on a global scale. This could be helping people in your community or the people who are close to you. Either way, you're working towards helping that, and that's where you're going to be driven towards. Now, the best way to set these intentions is that when the new moon occurs, within the first 24 hours, you want to declare it, be it by writing it down, saying out loud. You can even think in your head, but the more you can get a form of that intention being put energy towards and invest in, the more you're able to take hold of that moment. And as that moment occurs, the alignment of the sun to moon to earth is allowing the energy that is reaching us, that is connecting to us, through the sun, through the moon, to us. We can invest and plant that seed. And as that moon comes around, we are going to be able to see that had a reflection, so that the energy that is pulling towards us is now pulling us towards it. Thus, the key of manifestation. So, as we're able to set these intentions, you got two things to keep in mind. The first is setting intentions and to manifest during that single moon cycle, which is leading to a new moon, to a full moon, and back to a new moon. That full moon will be the combination of the minor intentions you place. On a larger scale, the solar eclipses that occur are going to be the longer cycles that take place. Now, there's a third cycle that takes place, is that with any new moon, you will see an echo when the equivalent of that new moon sign occurs as the full moon. So, for example, this is an Aquarius new moon. When we get to an Aquarius full moon in Leo season, you're going to see an echo combination of what you place then, which is actually probably pretty damn close to the next solar eclipse. So what you're seeing is two sides of the same coin give the same expression in terms of the long-term cycle of this particular eclipse. So with these in hand, I want to bring focus towards allowing you to see that you yourself are your own individual being with your own growth path. How you are clear with yourself is going to be up to you, as you will understand yourself better than anybody else ever could. As you get clear with yourself, you're going to understand your own strengths and weaknesses. And many of us have strengths that come naturally to us that allow us to help others around us, help humanity on a level that will come easy more often than other traits and qualities we may possess. Now, for example, I will utilize myself here, where be it through my video or through my artwork or whatever else I voluntarily take part in, these little effects are going to be seen as ways that I can help others, to bring light to others, to allow them to become more empowered and assisted and brought into their own growth cycle at a rate that will assist them and allow them to step into that being. As we help that, we're giving from ourselves to this collective. And we honestly do want a collective growth deep down inside of us, because we are all each expressions of the collective. And I mean this by the very sense that if something is occurring in the collective, be it by the planetary bodies, it's going to be expressed through the individuals who are more likely to pick up and have that energy, depending on their chart. Each individual person is their own resonance imprinted by the moment they stepped into this reality. And that is due to the light that is hitting them. It gets more complex as we discuss the more metaphysical aspect of it. But think of it that somebody born in the same day can have two different rising signs, and this can dictate your natal chart to experience certain inputs different ways. Thus, the same way that you're perceived out into the world and the way you express them also can have varying points. Now, some of these can be in common, but this is more of an astrological talk for another time. What we're trying to bring focus to by saying this is how we all are able to have our own different experience, different journeys, different growth cycles that allow us to see who we are and bring that out. And when we're using any moon magic, which is the intention of a new moon to a full moon back to a new moon, we're able to get clear with what it is that we'd like to manifest in the reality and how in tune it is to who we truly are. When we get clear and understand ourselves, that cycle is not only going to allow us to experience certain energies and themes that occur based on where that new and full moon sits in our chart, but it's going to allow us also to work with the collective energies of how this is expressed on the global scale. So the general themes are there and present, as well as the individual themes in which each of us are going through. Now, it's going to be different for everyone, so I advise probably informing yourself more on your chart, houses, and stuff like that, or to work with an astrologer that you may know. But it is an interesting subject to dive into one day, and I don't expect everyone to really go into it head first, understanding it. So, as you can see that you're your own individual person, you shall at least take that into consideration, that everyone has their own path. And what you may learn along your growth cycle may not be the same as others, but there may be a common thread that links it on a general collective scale. Now, that is going to be greater seen when you see populaces, a bunch of people, or a collective, in terms of being able to see it more clearly, be it in a network or be it on a community, however you'd like to perceive this kind of happening occurring. So, with all that said, I'd like to remind all of you that as we reach this full moon, this lunar eclipse, that you will become clear to understand who you are and where it is that you yourself fit into this whole workings of reality. And as we approach from this full moon to the new moon, which is the solar eclipse, partial solar eclipse, we are now being asked upon us to get clear in terms of where it is we'd like to help the collective, where we'd like to help humanity and the people around us through who we are, which we've just gotten clear about. And take that into consideration when the solar eclipse comes. You shall set your intention, whether you speak it, write it down, however it is you feel comfortable about. You will take part in what is occurring to help only support the manifestation through your own intention. No differently than intention has power to affect the structure of water and the shape it will take, no differently can it affect the light levels and the way that neutrinos and energy and quantum entanglement occurs throughout our universe. So whether you're connected to that growth cycle is a level of how clear you are and how centered you can be. I always say that you got to become your truest of being, and then once you're your truest and aware, you can honor your being to the best of the ability so that you can actively take part and welcome the experiences that you are here to grow and take in. So with all that, we got to make the most of it, and I'm sharing my expression out there for you to receive, and however you'd like to take that upon yourself is up to you. I thank you for the time that you've given to take this in, to digest it, and I hope that it may be beneficial for you at some point in your life, or whether it's this coming eclipse, or if you're seeing this much later, possibly a way that you can utilize this in whatever new moon or eclipse seasons that do occur. However the case, I'm going to remind you to be as true to yourself as you can, because to be honest, no one can be you like you, so you might as well embrace that. So until then, as always, stay true, and I'll see you guys in the next video. So enjoy the season, and adios, my peoples.